Hello, everyone. Just want to verify, Callie, can you see me? Get on here.
I can't see you, but I can see your
I
screen.
cannot see.
Let me share really quick. Okay. Okay, what about now? Can you see me now?
Perfect. And then if you want to open up your PowerPoint all the way.
Yep. All right. Okay, cool. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Alex Lemieux, the customer support manager here at Brandwise. Thank you for joining us today. The screen that you should see on here on this PowerPoint here is just going to go over some audio settings and just to kind of let you know that the chat window is available for you to ask questions. And I'll click OK to that. Close that. Okay, so with anything, any questions that come up, just make sure you enter those in the chat window. We have a few folks here to answer questions for you. We got Shane, he's a new part of our team, so he'll be helping you today, maybe Callie as well. So as far as that, we'll go ahead and wait a minute here, and then we'll see if we can get some more people in here. But I guess just make sure everyone can hear me. Just tell me where you're from and what the weather's like maybe. The weather here is nice and sunny. Pretty hot outside right now. Perfect perfect weather for Colorado today. A little smoky because of the fires, which is kind of a bummer, but seems to be getting a little bit better. So how's everyone else doing? I think I see, just trying to find my chat here.
Yeah, it looks like Sandra's joining us from Southern Oregon, so you're getting those fires too. Angela in Tampa, Cindy in Dallas, 80s, which is nice and cool for you guys. That's awesome. We have Mona from Northern California. Hope that you're protected by the fires too. And Christina, California, and already 93 outside. I do not envy you right now. I hope that you have some AC inside for this presentation. Got Brendan from Texas, Priscilla in Southern California. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. So I think we'll go ahead and get started here. So let me go here. So today's webinar is going to be about a change in personnel. So maybe you have some new personnel that are part of your company now, and maybe they need some process for maybe getting onboarded. So we're going to jump right into it. So let me just close out of this, make sure I get my screen back here. There we go. Oh, wait, why is that not? Undock my panel from the screen. Sorry here, hold on one second. I just got to get this out of my way here. There we go. Much better. Okay, so today we are going to, so we're going to explore the Brandwise Support Center, or otherwise referred to as the BSC, which you may hear about. I may reference just the BSC, so just know that that's a Brandwise Support Center, which is otherwise referred to as our ticketing system as well. So we use this to communicate to you via email, or if you're seeing us and you maybe have requested a ticket, this is what we'd be communicating to you with. We're also going to help onboard with the onboarding process of your new personnel. So we'll stay tuned for a good portion of seeing what kind of documentation we can find for that. So we're gonna find some documentation to help build your Brandwise knowledge. We're gonna go over documentation for sales reps, agency admins, and suppliers. So if maybe you find a portion of this doesn't pertain to you, please stick around. There is going to be something that will. There's a lot of useful information that I will be going over today. So please stay tuned if you do not see that right away. So the Brandwise Support Center, what is it? Well, it's a repository of all of our video guides, walkthroughs, articles, and webinars. So even this webinar, when we're done here, this webinar will be saved to the Brandwise Support Center, so you can view it later. We also have another location for that, but I will show you that once we get into the BSC. We also have a ton of useful information in there and new processes. So you may be asking, how do we get there, or what is the process for that? So I'm going to have you navigate over to support.brandwise.com. That is going to be the website that we're going to be using today. That is where you can access the Brandwise Support Center. So to just show you that, I have it open here. So you will be presented with an email and password. So if you have used the Brandwise Support Center before, you should just be able to log in. But I am going to show you really quick how you can sign up. It's super quick and easy. It just takes a couple of seconds. So we're going to want to hover over this little sign up button and click the sign up. And you can now enter in your name and your email. And then if you're not a robot, you can check that box. I have already done so, but I'll just show you what it looks like here, just in case. I don't know if I could spell my name right, that'd be cool. Okay. Okay. So once you do that, you just say you're not a robot, and then you just choose the chimneys, which I usually get this one wrong for some reason, so I'll just say verify. All right, boom. So you would just click the sign up button. However, I've already done this. So when you click sign up, you will get an email. So if you navigate over to your email account, you'll get something that says it's from the Brandwise Support Center, and it says welcome. So in here, you will find a link. Super easy, just click the link like so. And mine, it should just have you enter in a password, but since I've already done this, I just enter in my email and password here. So I will do so now. All right. Okay, and just for purposes of making things easier, I use the stay signed in option. I do that specifically because if for any reason I forget my password, I'm automatically going to log in whenever I go here. Or if maybe somebody sends you a link that may be containing an article and maybe one of our tickets, you can just open it up and it won't have you sign in. You can just get logged in right away. So I'm going to click sign in. Oh, I guess I typed in my password wrong, of course. Oh, well, I guess I forgot my password. So I'm gonna click get new password. Super easy, right? I'm just gonna do gmail.com. Okay, cool, submit. Awesome. And just make sure if you didn't get an email to just check your spam or junk folders. Those are usually something that it may go to depending on if you've been sent multiple emails in the past. But we'll just give this a second here so I can get my email to sign in.
Hey, Alex, sorry
Yes.
to interrupt you.
Yep.
I think you spelled your email wrong. You did your full first name, last name, and I think it's just your first initial.
Oh, sorry, I was running through this before and I chose the wrong one. Yeah, you're right. You are right, Dylan. Thank you for the heads up. I appreciate it. I bet you that'll do it right there. Okay, sorry about that. All right, cool, we are here. So you should be presented when you log in. You have your name in the upper right corner, and then you have some categories here. So you'll be presented with a series of categories that may be familiar to you because these are all of our Brandwise tools. So if you find something in here that you immediately just want to start looking in, you can just open one up and you can start looking at the videos and articles that are inside. But there are a few that I want to go over with you today. And the first one I want to start with actually is this webinars category. So when we open this up, we can actually see an article in here that says find every Brandwise webinar. Well, what that means is you can literally find every webinar that we've ever done. So if you just actually go to this link here and just right click, I'm going to right click it for purposes of not wanting to navigate away from the page. So I'll just go here over to this new tab. All right, so you can just scroll through here and say, you know what, maybe I want to look at this getting back to business video here or webinar. I click on it, and before it's going to let me watch it, it's going to make me register, which is super quick and easy. All you want to do is just enter your first, last name, email address, and then it will have you registered. So you can view those articles right afterwards. But there's a ton of useful information in here, a lot of good stuff. We have spent a lot of time on that, so there should be a webinar for you somewhere out there as well. Plenty of useful stuff. Now, for you sales reps out there, I would also recommend if you're in this menu, for and any onboarding processes that that you may be going through. This kind of stuff, these webinars are perfect for new folks from pretty much any kind of company. So if you find something in there, that could be used for documentation purposes as well. But for new sales reps, I would also recommend this other article that we have in here, which there is this little kind of functionality within the Brandwise Support Center where if there's multiple articles within a certain section, then you can just select those on the left-hand side. So we're going to click Webinar Guide for Sales Reps. And in here, you're going to get kind of a listing of what kind of webinars to watch. And this is going to be for Play for iPad and Play for PC with a couple of extras down here at the bottom. But this is in order. So if you're brand new and you're needing to know more about the Brandwise Play for iPad program or Play for PC programs, then you can use this as kind of like a guide on which webinars to watch and in what order. It's pretty helpful to just kind of understand at a starting point, maybe just sitting down for a little bit or maybe parts at a time and just kind of getting through this stuff. But these descriptions that you do see here, these are just basic descriptions. So there's probably more to these webinars than what's actually shown in these descriptions. So if it somewhat is related to what you're looking for, I just give it a watch anyways, just to make sure that it covers everything that you're looking for. But super helpful. So now I kind of want to show you this. So there's this little navigation menu in the upper left corner of the screen. So this kind of tells you what category you are in. I just want to go back one category to the webinars, and I can see more information here if I wanted to, but I just want to go back to the Brandwise Support Center now. Okay. So the next topic I want to jump into here is something that you may have heard of before, most likely. And if you haven't, I'll just go over it really quick. And that's going to be Brandwise Passport. So Brandwise Passport is the hub that connects everybody in the Brandwise ecosystem, including agencies, suppliers, and retailers. It's a very useful tool. It is the 2.0 infrastructure to what we are building here and is very useful for plenty of things. So we'll jump into that. So Brandwise Passport. So right off the bat, we get some how-to videos. For anyone that is wanting to know how to sign up for this, because maybe they would find that this is going to be useful for them, which it really is, then you can come in here and you can see which one pertains to you. So if you're an agency, supplier, or a retailer. Now, as far as the retailers one, which is the one I'm going to open up here, you are presented with a video. And then it also will show you this link down here. So if you are a retailer and, or if maybe there is a retailer that you want to send this video, then you absolutely can. You can also have them check out this link. So we'll check out this link really quick. This is going to be for some FAQ questions as well. You may have seen this before. We may have sent this to you separately, but this is in the BSC now. So you can find this here, just a bunch of FAQs that are pretty useful. And then that same video guide here. So they don't, the retailer doesn't necessarily have to sign up in the BSC to view this video guide. They can view it here as well, and it can walk them through the process on how to sign up as a retailer. So very useful stuff here. I would also like to mention that we did just recently make a change, and that is the sign-in button that you may have been familiar with for e.brandwise.com. That is actually now changed to the Passport sign-in. So that is so that we're on the website right now. So if we were to select this is going to drive us right into the sign-in, which we will kind of circle back around. I just kind of want to make a quick mention of that for anyone who might be wondering what happened with that button. But that is now the new sign-in process, and it is going to be the thing that we go over here in just a moment. So we'll close out of that. Okay. So back to Brandwise Passport, just a couple more things. So if you do have any suppliers any agencies out there, if you do have any new suppliers that you're onboarding and you're wondering how you can add them to your Brandwise Passport, there is this article here that I'd like to direct you to. So in this how-to article, it's just a quick little article to explain how to invite a supplier to your Brandwise Passport. So if you're ever wondering, maybe you just need a quick refresher, maybe you haven't done it in a while or something along those lines, then you can get that right here. It's usually the articles that we have come with images and whatnot. So if you find that maybe something is a little different than than what you may be seeing, it's more than likely because we've updated it. And we try to keep these documents up to date as much as we can. But really what it comes down to is that there's just so much, so we try to keep up with it. But yours may look a little different than this, but that's perfectly fine. 99% of the functionality is pretty much the same for what you might be seeing in this document. So yeah, now let's go back here. And with any updates and changes, we like to post those in this article as well. I'll have you guys go there, so if you want to check that out, you can, but we try to keep that as up to date as possible. So if maybe you're wondering why something looks different or maybe something was added, we should have those updates in there as well. So just keep up to date with this. Just make sure you check in every now and again. There might be something new for you, maybe something helpful. So back here. Now for transit. So for any suppliers that may have signed up for Brandwise Passport and they're wondering what to do from that point, this is the spot to go. So transit is to upload your product files to share with your agencies via the Brandwise Passport. So let's open this up. So right off the bat, the first thing that I would have anyone look at that's using transit is going to be this how to upload a product file article. So if we just crack this open, we'll see that there is a pretty in-depth video that is here. So give that a watch. It'll bring you start to finish through how to upload that product file and make sure that you're uploading it right. Now we have gotten a few requests as far as how this data is managed and what it looks like if maybe you're an agency who wouldn't have access to transit or something along those lines. We do have this FAQ page over here to kind of help you out a little bit with that. So maybe if you wanted to come in here and look at that, you can kind of see that process as well. But we do have this product file template and guidelines. So if maybe you're a supplier and your product file maybe has some stuff in there that maybe not supported, then I would absolutely recommend checking out this link right here. This will download an Excel file to your desktop that you can review, and you can check out all of the explanation as to what the template actually entails and how you can build your product file to fit into transit so that it can upload successfully. Pretty easy though, so just check out that link when you have a second. There's a lot of useful information in there, maybe even just some quick refreshers if you'd like to. So anyways, back to transit. Now, this is a big one right here, the Brandwise supplier checklist. So for both agencies and suppliers, this is something I'd recommend using. So for suppliers, if you're wondering, maybe you just got onboarded with an agency, you're new to Brandwise, and you don't really understand, like what to do next. Well, this checklist will kind of give you the steps that you need to do. So, first one, like I was saying, create a Brandwise passport. And then it kind of goes into the process of uploading a product file in transit. So you can do that as well. It also goes into content management and so on and so forth, which we'll get into here shortly. But very useful guide to kind of give you all of the steps required to get set up properly. Now, if you are an agency who is onboarding a supplier, I would recommend sending them a link to this site, or even you can grab this PDF from this article down here, and you can send that to them as well so that they understand a good process to move forward with when they first get started. Very useful for anything that you may be having questions on, or maybe would even require a conversation that can just be knocked out with this checklist. So now back to transit, I believe. No, sorry, now we're going back to the support center. So now, as far as the next step in that process, that's going to be content management. So content management, if you are familiar with it, you already know that it does greatly improve your ordering process because you are you're utilizing images and catalogs and whatnot so that your sales reps can sell better. You can improve their ordering process. Well, so if you open this up, you also get that supplier checklist in here. So for maybe some reason you couldn't find it somewhere else, or just you need to view it again, you can see it in here. And we kind of have some articles split out across just because they might fall in multiple categories. So check it out. But let's say you are in content management and you need to know how to use it. Well, it's pretty straightforward, but these quick guides on the right-hand side is what I would direct you to right off the bat. The first one I would do is just how to upload product images. Product images are insanely important. If you're a sales rep, you're ordering a product, and it doesn't have an image on it, it makes it significantly harder to sell, as I'm sure some of you are very familiar with, seeing maybe an image not have a product association or something like that. But yeah, going through this process, seeing how you can upload product images if you have them. If you don't have them, I highly recommend getting them. It just really makes the process that much better. I know that the process for ordering, you could do a catalog, but having an image tied to a product without necessarily needing to be in a catalog is key. Having that in front of you makes it just that much more valuable. But here's a guide that you can go through. Pretty straightforward guide. It also comes with a video along with that article. So whichever best fits you, you can do that as well. And then there's also how to upload catalogs, how to hotspot catalogs, so on and so forth. So if you're running into anything that you might have questions on, we're always available to help. So if you're looking at these articles and you may have questions on them, we can absolutely review these things with you. And we'll put information about how you can reach out to us with our phone number and email, and much more. So back to the content management portal. Now let's say the how-to videos are cool and all, but maybe you want to see it in action a little bit more than just a split out video. There is a live webinar recording that we do put, and we don't have webinars just in that webinar category. We kind of have webinars spread out throughout the categories because they do pertain to that category too, and it's just kind of like easier to get to sometimes. So you have the Brandwise content management live recording. Maybe you watch that first and you kind of see how that goes. It's a pretty good webinar. I've watched it a couple of times myself just to kind of see language and stuff on how that should be communicated and whatnot. And then maybe you're asking yourself, what kind of specs are out there? How do I make a product image and all that? Well, you can check out these on the left as well under catalog and image specs. So this is a pretty useful thing, and I would, on both parties, suppliers, I would definitely check this out. This is something that I would absolutely recommend reviewing to make sure you know everything about it. And agencies, I would definitely show this to your suppliers when you get the moment so that they can understand that process even more. So as for the support center, let's go back. Now I want to talk about Stream. So this is also for suppliers. Stream is pretty much the process in which you can receive orders from your Brandwise connected agencies. So if you are signed up with Stream Lite, you're going to be able to receive your orders electronically, what we call electronically, which you may hear, and then you'll be able to batch your orders and print them out. Now, if you have Stream Standard, you'll be able to do a little bit more with that. But whichever one that you have, if you're not sure which one you have, we can just dive into both of these guides and show you. But there are guides to walk through that process. So maybe as a supplier, you get some new personnel, which I've seen quite often. Someone new gets onto the company, and they're unfamiliar with this process on how they process orders, and this guide pretty much walks them through that process. So this kind of narrows down the questions that you may get as far as what Brandwise is if this new person is asking questions such as that, and how they can succeed with receiving orders without having to necessarily click around and have to figure out things on their own. So yeah, I would definitely have anyone look at these quick guides. There's also one for Stream Lite, so that's a little bit of a shorter one. So it's just a really quick read, show you everything that there is for it, but pretty useful there too. So for agencies, what I'd also recommend too is there are these brochures, the Stream brochure and the Stream Lite brochure. So maybe your first step for onboarding a supplier is that you don't want to manually process orders. Maybe there's something along those lines, where what I mean by manually processing orders is you have to create a PDF order copy and then send it via email. Maybe that is a bit of a stretch, having to do so many times. So if you want your supplier to get on Stream or Stream Lite, and you want it to just be maybe a simple email, I would definitely send these brochures along. There's some pretty valuable information in there that can kind of narrow down what may fit their needs, and that can kind of help with any conversation in the future about it. And again, we can talk to anyone that has any questions on it, but that's just kind of a good start to send those along. And I guess something I forgot to mention too is for any supplier that uses Insight, Insight's just a reporting tool that's within Stream, so you'll be able to look at how the reporting goes in there. So there's just if we open this up, there's just a quick little video on how the little reports can run in there. So that's good. So that's about it for Stream. So I'm going to return to the Brandwise Support Center. But now we've kind of gone over what you may see if you've signed into Passport as a supplier. So some things agencies related as well. But here's the thing. So we have just recently updated Brandwise Passport. So suppliers have a single sign-on for not only just transit, but content management and Stream. So if you are in the process of using 3 different logins, you have a Stream login, a content management login, and now a transit login or a Passport login, that is now all condensed into one single sign-on, which is very useful because now you don't have to sign in three different times to access those 3 different things. They're all at the top of your you can access any one of these categories if you have any questions about those, but that kind of gives you an overview as far as what may be useful to you. And maybe you don't use one of the 3, maybe you don't use Stream, or maybe you don't use content management as far as having walked through it, but they are still there for your viewing needs. So now what I'm going to talk about here for a minute is stuff for sales reps. So you may be familiar with Play, or maybe even have just heard of what Play is, but this is what you're going to use to write orders. So this is your order writing tool. So if you have an iPad, which I would definitely recommend having an iPad if you don't have one. We update it all the time. It's great. We update Play for PC too, but we're definitely getting the iPad updated quite a bit, so I would absolutely recommend that. But the first thing that I would direct you to, if you were someone new and maybe you needed a kind of some guidance on what to do to start out, I would direct you to this Play for iPad Sales Order quick guide. This quick guide just gives you a brief overview about how to start a sales order, and it walks you through with each of the images here. And then if there's any questions that come along, we can absolutely answer those. And that's just true for anything. I might be saying that a lot, but we can answer any questions that come along with this. So if something comes along, just let us know. But yeah, so very, very good article here. We are adding on articles all the time, so you might be seeing a bunch more videos pop up here very soon regarding how specific things in the iPad work. But something else I would like to mention too is we are releasing updates to the iPad all the time, so you might see that these images are a little different than what you may be looking at. Like your home screen might look different than this, or there might be some functionality that might be showing up a little differently. So these guides will get you through everything that you need to do to create a sales order. There might be a little bit of a difference here and there, but we are updating these as we update our iPad, so they shouldn't be too far out of date if they are. And then something for agency admins as well, I would definitely send this Play for iPad installation guide to anyone that's getting onboarded that may be needing to install. Because usually the process would be that you either know the process and you help the sales rep install, or maybe they would give us a call and we would just walk them through the process. But this guide is here, so if maybe you feel like they would want to walk through a guide and not do maybe like an email or a call, then this is something that they can do. We do have a video that's coming out very soon, possibly the early next week, that will also be added to this. So it will not only just be an article, but it will be a video as well. So now, also, if you have an iPad, there's some cool video guides on the left as well. I recommend checking those out. But for admins, you may have seen these before. We've sent them quite a few times when we do iPad releases, but this does derive from the BSC. And what I'm talking about are the iPad release notes. So when you're going through any sort of update, there's always a list of release notes that come out with that, because we don't necessarily just want to release something and not let you know what we released. So I would absolutely come over here, check this out, read through all of it, just to maybe even just to see previous updates on stuff that you may not have seen in the past. A quick quick note I want to make is the iOS 12 version does expire tomorrow. So if you do have an iOS 12 device, there are some processes that we have posted on Brandwise Insiders, that can help with that, but that does expire tomorrow. So you must have an iPad that has iOS 13 or greater to use Brandwise. And there are reasons for that, so we'll post those as necessary. But something I also want to mention too with this is when you scroll through this, you might see that there are some updates to Play for iPad that we are going to be releasing pretty soon. We're just working through them. So this might not even be something that's been released, but it might be, for instance, coming soon. So check it out, see what your thoughts are, and then as always, there's a feedback. So if there's anything that you have, just let us know. We can definitely discuss that with you. And then anything else with Play for iPad that's in this article, I'd probably check out as well. Downloading images for catalogs, very useful. Knowing how to do that, I would absolutely do. Now, again, there are webinars here. Now, some of these webinars are in that webinars guide that I did display moments ago. But they're also in here just in case maybe you just want to click on one and watch one really quick. Now, if you use Play for PC, there are some articles down here as well, like for instance, top 10 ports you can't live without. Pretty good article. So, just run through here. And then there's also a sales reps guide for Play for PC. So it lists pretty much everything and every process for that. And these guides, these are pretty huge user guides. So we are trying to revamp all of that as well. And again, it is an ever evolving process. So getting this the most up to date is definitely what we are about. But I would also say that anyone that does go in here and use these, this is definitely a lot to take in. So again, if you want maybe someone to help you out with that, we can absolutely do that. Okay, so back to the support center. So we'll click this real quick. So now I just want to review Reach. So Reach is just the web platform that you may or may not be using. But if you are, I'll just review this really quick. One question that you may have received recently is this managing retailer requests and mapping. So we have changed the way that you map retailers within Reach. So a portion of that is done within Brandwise Passport, and then we have redone a little bit of the process within e.brandwise. So this process is outlined start to finish. Even if maybe you are familiar with this process, maybe give it a quick read just in case. Maybe you learned something new about it that you didn't know before that might assist you even more. So give that a read. Super awesome article. I've even read it a few times myself to make sure that I am remembering everything right. And then there's a bunch of overview stuff for admins. So if anything is coming up for what you would want to know about Reach, and there's just maybe some things you want to talk about on it, then this would probably be a good place to start, is looking at all of what we have posted in here. And then of course we have some FAQs and a Reach retailer tutorial on how they would navigate through a Reach site. So if maybe someone is curious on like maybe what a Reach site is or how it works, maybe check those out. Okay. Now with commissions. So this is for articles that are with commissions and reward. I won't go too far in depth with this because some of you may be using it, some might not. But if you are doing commissions, or if you know anyone that is doing commissions and you feel like they would need some refreshers, or if maybe they should just get some refreshers anyways, go in here. There's literally a ton of articles that will bring you through start to finish everything in commission track or reward. And I reference them quite often because it is a very complex system that has a lot of value to it. So I would absolutely check that out if that's something that you are either having questions on or maybe even needed training on. I would definitely start with that first. But that's definitely something that we'd probably set up a training for, which we'll get into here shortly. Now, we do have a Brandwise Insiders category. So we do post a good bit of stuff in here. So, there's some important, information, like, we do system maintenance on Thursdays between 6 Mountain Time and 12 Mountain Time. 12 a.m. So if maybe you've experienced something within those hours, maybe that would be why. So we have information about that kind of stuff, and then maybe you have kind of a little bit more questions about what the support center really is. We do have some articles based on the support center. So if maybe you wanted to present maybe a new sales rep or someone new to the BSC, it doesn't really matter. Whoever you want to be into the BSC to look at all this information, you can give them the welcome to Brandwise support center and the get password and much more. They can kind of go through that process themselves as well. And again, we are going to have this webinar in here too, so maybe you could show them that webinar as well. Yeah. So back to here. So now with everything that I've shown in here, there's quite a bit of information, and I can't stress enough, this is an ever evolving process. So just check it every now and again. We'll have some new stuff in here very shortly. And maybe you don't even want to look at some categories. Maybe you just want to search for documents. So if maybe a document that you're wanting just came out, you could just search for it. And then maybe let me know your thoughts on if there are any articles that you would like to see that maybe you didn't see here today, or because maybe we do have those, or maybe we can start creating them. But we have a ton of stuff that we're going to be creating as well. So if maybe you want an article, we can maybe push that up a little bit. So I would absolutely let us know. Now, I will want to jump into just a quick note here about the requests. So maybe you want to send us an email, or maybe you want to just submit us a ticket. However that is, you maybe want to ask us a question, something along those lines. Well, if you're in the support center already, which it's super easy to get to. So if you, for instance, moved, if you just close this tab and reopened it, it's going to sign you right back in. You can just click the submit request button. And I did go over this in a previous webinar, so there is a little bit more explanation on this, but just as a quick review, you can submit, this is essentially an email. You make a subject line, you put a description in here, put as much description as possible in here, because that way we can further determine what it is without having to necessarily do too much back and forth. But what you feel is necessary. And then you specify what product it is. So, we have our list of products in here. So find it in there and submit it along. Now, if maybe you have some screenshots to maybe help along the process, I would absolutely recommend sending those as well, because if we can take a look at the ticket and know everything in one go, then we can pretty much just, for the most part, send you the answer to your question, or maybe a fix or something along those lines. But once you've added all of the required information, you can then submit it. And then that will send us an email. We'll have someone reviewing an email queue for the majority of tickets, and then we can get somebody associated to that ticket. And then you can keep track of your tickets and whatnot in here, but that's something that we can find in, for instance, that other list of webinars that I showed you in these webinars. There's other webinars about that. So yeah, pretty good stuff. Now I think what I'll do, I'll switch back over here. Okay. Oh, play from the beginning. No, I don't want to do that. Okay. So let's say you go through the BSC and you're not finding what you need, or maybe it's not enough, or something along those lines, which there's a ton of stuff in there to help you out, to get you started, onboarding processes that you can send out via email or whatnot, but maybe you need a little bit more in-depth analysis on things. I would absolutely recommend contacting us at either that phone number, 303-788-9970, or emailing us at support@brandwise.com. We can absolutely walk you through the process on how to get signed up with a training. We might even be able to help you right then and there. It kind of depends on the depth of what kind of training you are asking for. But the process for that is super simple. What I'd actually recommend is maybe you have 1 or 2 people that need to do a training in your company. Maybe more people need a refresher. There can be pretty much as many people on that training as you want. So 1 person, 20 people, it's whatever. Now, obviously, the less people there are, the more questions that might start flowing. But it is definitely something I would recommend wholly. Now, with any of those processes, it might be different for suppliers and agencies. So I would definitely let us know if that's something that you want to be shown how to do. So one other thing I'd like to go over, the BSC is a very useful tool, but I would also have to give a lot of credit to the Brandwise insiders here. I would definitely recommend signing up, be a part of our community. There's a bunch of conversation that flies in there, a bunch of good dialogue, questions, processes, updates on when things are going on. It's a great place. Callie, do you want to show it off really quick?
Yeah, of course. So in the meantime, while Alex is on the screen, before I take it from him really quick, if you text insiders to 33777, that will opt you into all text and email updates. So highly recommend signing up for that if you haven't been getting my emails already. And I'll go ahead and steal the screen from you, Alex.
Yep.
And it's loading, so give me a second. All right, so I just want to make sure you guys can see Brandwise Insiders here. So last week, earlier this week, I was actually on vacation. I put this post up on the Brandwise Insiders to let you guys know that your single sign-on for Brandwise was here for all suppliers. So it was just quickly walking you through how you can sign up for your passport, all this kind of stuff. We got so much engagement and excitement around this update that I actually sent you guys an email to before we headed out of town. So definitely a good reason for you to just continue to be well informed about anything that's going on with Brandwise Insiders. We post all of the webinars and everything. Those recordings, you'll be able to find them in here. And you can see, Alex mentioned a little bit about the enhancement requests, but we've gotten some of your feedback so far, especially for everything relating to Brandwise Passport and the whole 2.0 lineup. And a lot of that, we have Dylan on here with us today. He's one of our product owners. He pays attention to a lot of the things that's happening in here, and if he doesn't, I tag him in it. And so a lot of these requests actually get put into development straight away. So whether you're going through the insiders or through the BSC, like Alex mentioned, that's obviously going to help us to keep a better track, make sure we don't miss anything. So highly recommend utilizing the BSC for that. But if you're just wanting quick questions in terms of how you might be able to run a report differently, you can see that a lot of times we have either some of our support crew hopping in here, or even just some of your own peers that are hopping in here and telling you exactly how they run those reports. So would highly recommend that you guys just kind of check this out if you want the first inside look at anything new that's coming. As you can see, this was about Reach 2.0 right before we released it to Collective Home. So I don't know if they're on with us today, but Iris just finished getting them all started. So we have more exciting things that are just going to be continuing to happen. Like Alex said, this whole product lineup is just continuing to evolve over time. And Brandwise Insiders is going to be the first place that's going to keep you informed of all these changes that are happening. So you guys can just find this on Facebook, just search Brandwise Insiders, answer a couple questions, and then you'll be able to get approved to be able to get in here. This is available for all sales reps, agencies, suppliers. So highly recommend that you guys get on here. We'll look at creating a separate retailer group, but we're looking to do that closer to when the marketplace is actually going to become available for them as well. So we have a few people that are waiting to get in here, a lot of them being retailers, but like I said, we do approve agencies, sales reps, and suppliers right away. So highly recommend that you participate. And Alex, I will pass it back over to you and stop sharing this screen. If there's any other questions that you guys have.
Any more questions?
So if you guys do have questions, feel free to raise your hand if we haven't answered them already. I know some of them we've already gotten some requests in terms of making some of these articles into PDFs and everything. I did mention that specifically for content management, all of that has just recently been updated by Iris, which is so awesome. So we can possibly look at making a PDF copy for you guys in the future. We just didn't want to necessarily have anything be too public as well. So Ginger, you asked if there's a way to see things that I post on Facebook, Insiders another way. I typically will cover them in emails, especially if it's important information like the single sign-on. I just didn't expect it to get as big of a reaction as it did. So I typically will email everything, but I just post it on to the insiders group first. And then the other way that you'll be able to stay informed with that too is going to be through the monthly newsletters that we do. So we'll make sure that those get posted through the BSC for you guys as well, just so that you guys can stay informed on all the changes that are happening on a month-to-month basis. Awesome, Delaney. Looks like you're going to be using the BSC more frequently, which is what we love to hear.
Yeah, that's awesome. I guess one thing, I know we got just a few minutes left, and something I actually forgot to mention, just as far as our onboarding process, well, I'm sure it's a little different, right? At least in the support team. It might be a little different from y'all's process, but just something that I found super useful is that, through, recent events and whatnot, what kind of forced us to do the stay at home sort of thing, I have found that having like a, like a room open or something like that, like this is a go-to meeting, or having like a go-to meeting or a Zoom meeting or something like that open, and if you're the person that someone asks questions to all the time, having like a meeting open that anyone can really just join and ask questions at that point, I kind of feel like it kind of relates to the idea of someone walking into your office or something like that. So it kind of leaves that as kind of a little bit of an interaction, that if maybe you're not in the office or something like that, or maybe something, maybe some kind of interaction needs to happen, that is what I have felt has helped me a lot. I don't know if that kind of scenario might help you at all. I thought that I'd probably share that, though, just as kind of how my onboarding process has changed quite a bit as far as remote learning has kind of taken place and whatnot. So yeah, I found it very useful. So if anybody finds that useful, maybe let me know so I know if that was a good thing to share.
Yeah, definitely. I know, Alex, you mentioned previously too, and while you start preparing this, somebody's asked if you can go over how to log into the BSC again. So
oh, yeah. Yeah, let me do that
again one more time. But Alex also mentioned specifically, and if you guys haven't seen the newsletters and stuff so far, we have 3 new support people that have joined our team over the past 2 months. And so in terms of just his ability to be able to continue to work with a lot of you guys and his productivity and making sure that things aren't getting missed, while he's training and has that room open, he's still able to do a lot of the other things that he needs to get done on a day-to-day basis without being totally bombarded and disrupted from it. So been super useful. I imagine it's something he's going to continue to do even once we're all back in an office, if that day comes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, especially the training piece, being able to train users, while also having my own stuff open at the same time, actually has a lot of benefits. Whereas you may be, dedicated to one or the other if you're doing that in person. So I found it super helpful. But as far as the BSC process, you can see my screen, right, Kelly?
Yep, we can see it.
So I haven't created another email yet, but it's pretty much a process like this. So you just click this sign up button. So you're on support. I know it looks like a little different here, but it's support.brandwise.com. And I believe we did put a link to that in the chat window. So check out that link there. And then maybe if you're not necessarily doing this right now, maybe you just go to it, favorite it, and then save it for later, so that maybe you don't have to go back to this and review it. Maybe it's just right there. But you would go here. You would click this sign up button, and pretty straightforward. You enter in your first name or your full name and your email. So, I would just come in here, and again, I can't spell my name, so that's fun. I'll just type in this. Cool, so like I'd enter in that email. Now, because I am not a robot, I'm gonna check this box. All the fire hydrants, okay. Done. And then I would click this sign up button. I'm not going to click it now because it's going to tell me that my email is already associated to an account, but I would click sign up, and I will navigate over to, let's just say, my email. Pretend this is that same email. I would get an email that looks similar to this that says, welcome to Brandwise Support Center, success. I open this up and I receive a link in here. So just saying success, you received a link. And then I would open this, and if I open this, it's going to It's gonna bring me back to my login screen because I haven't actually used the email, but for you, it should have you with your first, last name, and then just the password that you want to use. So all you have to do is type in a password you want to use, and then when you click the sign in button, it'll just sign you right into the Brandwise Support Center.
And a lot of you guys have emailed support before too, so that button is super useful as well.
Anyone who has emailed in before should just be able to click that get a password button. I actually did mention that, so thank you for mentioning that, Callie. Many of you probably have emailed before, so as far as the process, you just say get a password, and then it might even just allow you to pull it up. So maybe try that.
Awesome. I think the only other request so far, so Rose, you'll have to let me know if that works for you. But for transit, it would be really helpful if there was an example line for them to follow. I get so many error messages and spend hours on this as I only do it 3 to 4 times per year. So we do have a new video that's going to get posted onto the BSC today. This talks to you guys about how to format your product file. It's actually one that Shane, one of our new support people, put together. So we'll get that posted onto the insiders, but since you guys all attended this webinar today, I gave you guys a sneak peek to it. So if you want to check out that YouTube link, it'll walk you through that process for anyone that we still have hanging on the line. And that's just in the chat window if I didn't mention that.
Cool.
You're welcome, Alexis.
Awesome. What other questions do we got?
Let's see if anyone has their hands raised. I don't think so. All right, well, you guys might get 8 minutes back for your day. We'll go ahead and post this recording on Brandwise Insiders and send this email out to you guys as well. So thank you guys so much for attending. Alex, if you have any other closing notes for everyone.
Yeah, so again, yeah, that webinar will be in the BSC as well. That link will bring you there. So if there is, this webinar that you want to rewatch, or if there are any other webinars, it's definitely something I recommend checking out. But thank you all for attending. There's great questions asked. And if anyone has anything, just let us know. We can absolutely help you out with that. But everyone have a great day.